Yeah. All right, we are live. We're about to speak with just dismissed Fresno police officer Rick Fitzgerald. He'll have his chance to tell his story. Today, the Fresno Police Department and Mayor Dyer issued statements regarding Officer Fitzgerald, and we're about to hear from him.
And Rick,
All right.
can I have you just say mic check, mic check?
Me? Mic check, mic check.
One more time, please.
Mic check, mic check.
Cool.
We good?
Take it away, David.
All right, Officer Fitzgerald, we are live on GV Wire Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, thank you for having me.
First of all, how did you find out about your dismissal, and what's your initial reaction to this?
Oh, I got a call from DC Salazar, and he just said that the chief was enacting his emergency powers to terminate me on the spot. And my initial response was, it's ironic that I work for a police department where when I arrest people, they're innocent until proven guilty, but in this case, I was just guilty from the first day. So the irony was thick.
Did they tell you what the official violation you did to cause your dismissal?
Yeah, I guess there's a muni code or some code where basically they said if I'm caught committing a crime, then they can automatically fire me on the spot. So they're basically claiming that I committed a felony while I was up in Sacramento, which is easily disprovable.
So let's talk about that. There was after
My mustache is itchy, sorry.
That's fine. It's live TV.
Yeah.
So let's start with March 14th.
Okay.
You're spotted at the Tower Theater, the protest there.
Yes.
Tell us, why did you attend and why did you go?
Okay, so one of the guys in my group, Sons of 76, he's really interested in the fight, or not the fight, but the protest down there. So he's been on me to go down there and kind of check it out, and I said okay, and I'd been putting him off. So finally I said okay, we'll go down there and check it out just to see. I mean, I don't really have a dog in that fight. I had gone down there the week before, and I talked to some of the other officers, and I got some insight, and I found out that they're protesting because if the church buys the Tower Theater, then a lot of those businesses are going to have to move because of the liquor license. So hearing that, I was kind of like, well, if that's the case, I'm kind of on the Tower side. Like, I wouldn't want those places to close down. We don't have a lot of artsy places in Fresno, and I would be upset too. Like, we need to keep the Tower District as it is. So when we went down there the next Sunday, we just stood. We just wanted to watch. You know, we didn't have signs. We didn't protest. We didn't engage. As a matter of fact, you know, not to make Dennis upset, but I was more on the side of the LGBT community because I understood their gripe. And so we just watched and hung out, and that was it.
Right. Do you think it may be a little, I don't know if conflict of interest is the right word, but being an active police officer and going to a place where tensions can sometimes run high, do you think that was a smart move as a police officer to be there, off duty?
Well, we kept a distance. I mean, we were across the street the whole time. And so if the argument is that when you're off duty, you can't go stand and watch a protest, I mean, that's a pretty thin argument.
Right. It tells you were wearing Sons of 76 a shirt. What is Sons of 76?
Sons of 76 is a group that some of us started. After I left the Proud Boys back in November, I didn't like what I saw up in Sacramento, so I got out. And we wanted to do something that was community service and charity based, and we wanted to, you know, get men and lift them up in a positive way. And when you're in the Proud Boys, you're always having to hide, and I didn't like that. So I wanted to do something that we could really push out into the public and say, hey, we're doing this good work. If you want to hop on board and do this good work with us, then you're more than welcome. And so every month we do at least one charity or one community event. And so far we've been doing pretty good.
Right. We are here with Officer Rick Fitzgerald, who's in the news today. He is the Fresno police officer who was spotted at the Tower Theater during a protest last month, and he was dismissed today. And we heard comments earlier today from Police Chief Balderrama and Mayor Jerry Dyer. So tell us, Officer Fitzgerald, how long have you been a police officer for?
18 years full-time and a year and a half as a reserve.
And all with Fresno PD?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had any disciplinary issues in the past?
I've had 2 IAs.
And I'm sorry, what's an IA?
Internal investigation. I've had 2 of them. Both of them were exonerated. And then I've had, we had a change in policy where if you got into a car crash, a traffic collision, it automatically became an IA. So, I mean, if you're counting those, everybody goes to traffic collisions. But aside from that, I've had 2 in 18 years, and neither one of them were upheld.
Right. So tell us about your involvement with the Proud Boys. How long were you with them, and then what was this protest or this event you went to last November?
So I don't know exactly when, but I would say I was probably with them for roughly just under a year. my time with them, we basically met once a month, and we, met in a guy's house, had beers, talked, and did, just stupid stuff. And then everybody went on their merry way. We did do I think they called him a Trump train down to Bakersfield once. And then when Trump went to Bakersfield, we went down there and nothing happened. And then come November, it was after Joe Biden had made the Proud Boys famous by calling him white supremacists, which is stupidly funny. And so I was basically the guy who was dealing with all the guys who wanted to join. So I talked to all the prospects, which I really liked because I could kind of guide them and show them, hey, we're not racist or anything like that. So I really liked being able to have that interaction. So I went up to Sacramento as basically a chaperone. I hung out with the 8 guys that were trying to get in. We basically watched the rally. And then, they all went up and marched to Cesar Chavez. And so we did that. And the rally was either Recall Newsom or Open Up California. I can't remember which one it was.
Now, what did you understand the Proud Boys to be?
Well, I actually did my research, and what the Proud Boys are is basically a group. It's a men's fraternity based on a joke, basically, that got a bad rep because they were trying to defend freedom of speech.
Do you believe them to be a supremacist group or a misogynist type group at all, as they've been described?
In my time on Telegram and various boards nationwide and some worldwide, I've only seen one person post something that was racist, and he immediately got ejected.
So you're saying that Proud Boys is not a racist organization or supremacist organization as others have described them?
I would like to know what race they're being they're trying to push, considering the chairman is a black Cuban, and Fresno chapter was started by a Mexican and had, I would say, no less than 6 minorities.
What do you think about their involvement in the January 6th riot in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol?
I think it was stupid. I mean, they were actually ordered not to go. So why they went anyways? They had to know that the optics of that was going to be bad. And, that's why I've said the Proud Boys are a lot of things. They're not racist, and they're not anti-LGBTQ. Are they a poorly run organization, in my opinion? Yes. Do they have issues? Yes. And a lot of the members who were part of that group, they will tell you the same thing, like the guys who want to make it better. They will tell you the same thing.
So you don't believe they're racist or anything? Or what do you think about the Southern Poverty Law Center declaring them a hate group?
I think that the Southern Poverty Law Center has also declared Ben Carson a hate person. So if you want to sit there and tell me that a black neurosurgeon who was the first guy to separate conjoined twins is a hate person, I would love to have that argument any day.
All right. Once again, we are here with Officer Rick Fitzgerald. You're watching GV Wire on Facebook. I'm David Taub. Here's Rick Fitzgerald, who's dismissed today from the Fresno Police. So what's your next steps now? I spoke with your attorney, Rick Wilson, before, and obviously an appeal and a lawsuit are possibilities. What would you like to see happen?
Well, I mean, what I would like to see happen and what are actually going to happen, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't really know what the process is. I mean, the department, with their false allegations and their inability to conclusively prove that I committed a crime, I have a feeling that could potentially come back to bite them. My goal would be to hopefully pick up a lawyer who sees that this is not right, that this is political shenanigans run amok, with the mayor who will hesitate to throw no one under the bus if it makes himself look better, and hopefully pick up the case. I think that we have a solid case for wrongful termination, and I think that the last thing that they wanted to do was pull me into an office and have that discussion, because they know at the end of the day I'm right.
Do you think the investigation that Fresno Police...
Yikes.
Do you think the investigation Fresno Police had, was that fair?
Absolutely not. They sent me the packet that they're using to say why they fired me, and ironically, they're labeling me a racist, but nothing in the packet, there's nothing racist in the packet. Not one thing. Not a text, not a comment I made on Parler, nothing. So for me being the big racist that Jerry Dyer is trying to make me out to be, it's interesting that in all of their investigations, they couldn't find anything racist. Furthermore, I would just like to say, man, people really like that. I would just like to say that it's also funny to me that you had these investigators who were saying that I committed a felony up in Sacramento, and they have these pictures of me with my hands on the flag, but somehow none of them found the video where it shows exactly what happened. But they're gonna show you pictures, but they won't show you the video of why my hands are on the flag. So what kind of detectives do we have? And if that's the case, if I was a person in Fresno, I would be concerned. If that's the kind of investigating that our detectives are doing, then they should be raising some flags.
Do you believe that Proud Boys is a violent or criminal organization, as some have described it?
I think that the Proud Boys always want to fight Antifa. And I think that there's a lot of people who aren't in the Proud Boys that probably want to fight Antifa. I think that people get tired of watching groups run around major cities destroying businesses and bureaucrats telling cops to stand down. That gets old. So, I mean, is it a violent criminal organization? I wouldn't say they're criminals. I mean, if that's the case, then you have to say BLM and Antifa are criminals. So I guess that's a matter of perspective. Do I go out looking for fights? No.
Do you know if there are any other Fresno police officers or other law enforcement officers who are members of Proud Boys or other groups?
Well, I know that we have some guys that actively promote BLM, which is, another big fat slice of irony, considering BLM is marching down the street saying pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. But that's okay. And you have BLM who's actually responsible for 4 deaths in Dallas, but nobody cares about that. Let me ask you, how many people have the Proud Boys killed? None.
And so you're saying that there are active Fresno police officers who are involved in the BLM movement?
Who openly support them, yes. But that's not a problem because, politics and stuff.
Right. So what's the next step for you?
Well, now that it's been over a month and I can finally tell my side of the story, I'm going to tell my side of the story because I know I'm right. So if people want to come at me and ask me questions, and I'll answer anything. The department won't. The department won't show you a video. They'll send you snippets and stuff that's taken out of context, and they'll show you stuff that was on Parler from almost a year ago that I already disavowed. That's what they're going to show you. But they can't beat me in an argument, toe to toe, face up. Let's have this discussion, and they know it. So they took the chicken way out.
What do you make of the community reaction after the March 14th when you were spotted there, where somebody on Twitter recognized you, and they recognized you as a person who marched in Sacramento, and then tell us about a couple hours later, who called you to let you know that you were on administrative leave?
I got a call from one of the sergeants in Northeast, and he said, I have to take your stuff. So I went down there and I got in my locker, and he took my badge and gun, and this is exactly what he said to me, and I'm not going to name him, but this is exactly what he said. He said, this is complete BS. He goes, I don't know anybody in this department that does more for the community outside of work than you. This is BS. And then I left.
What do you think of Chief Balderrama? I mean, this is one of his first big moves.
I'll be honest with you. I'm waiting for him to be the chief. When does he start being the chief? Because as far as I can tell, Mayor Dyer, good old Jer Bear, he's the one who's pulling all the strings. You tell me that Paco made this call when he's in Oklahoma City? Did he see the video? Did anybody watch the video? So this is Jerry Dyer wanting to push his politics. He wants to say I'm this big white supremacist guy when I'm not even white, and he wants to pat himself on the back and make himself look good. And you know what? Right now it's me, but tomorrow it'll be somebody else, because Jerry, that's just who he is. That's who he's always been.
Right. When you say you're not white, what do you associate, or what do you identify as?
Whitish. I mean, my grandma's full Mexican, so whatever. I'm probably a mutt,
So do you think this is it for law enforcement? Do you think you never get another law enforcement job after this?
Who would hire me? You Google my name and it comes up with this guy's a big white supremacist. I don't blame departments for wanting to pass me up. I just think it's unfortunate that, you've got 18 years of no racist complaints, 18 years of no excessive force, 18 years of working with people from multiple races, no complaints, no nothing, but somehow I'm the face of racism in Fresno, substantiated by zero facts. It's pretty sick.
Do you think it's just reacting to all those who called for your firing already?
No, absolutely. There was a letter, I believe, I don't know if you're aware, but the Fresno Bee, who is just nailing it lately. I guess they got a letter from some civil rights people, lawyers from back east, saying that there were 5 reasons why I should be fired, which miraculously mirrored the 5 reasons they gave me on the form. But, they're saying I violated civil rights. My question would be where? Did Smith Camp come up with any of my cases that were bad? Because they're not. I only write good cases. So I'm waiting for them to say that I had some kind of racial issues with any of my cases. As a matter of fact, I just received a letter of commendation for not shooting an armed black kid, which would have been a shooting that anybody could have got away with, or I should say, be cleared of. I got a commendation for not shooting him, but I'm a racist. So let's figure that out.
Are you a member of any other groups similar to Proud Boys or Sons of 76?
Well, Sons of 76 and Proud Boys are 2 completely different groups. And right now, Sons of 76 is taking up all my time.
Right. Any closing thoughts? Any final thoughts to just the community reaction? I know a lot of people were cheering. They thought that the city, the police department got it right. What do you say to the community?
I think that, there's a lot of things I want to say to the community. I guess the first thing that I would say is, there's a lot of people who should be ashamed of themselves. You know, we live in a time when facts don't matter, and that's become increasingly evident to me. Facts don't matter. All that people care about is whatever political perspective that will make them feel warm and fuzzy in their little bellies. And I know people will watch the interview that I just did, and they'll listen to what I say, and because they don't want to be challenged in their own beliefs, they're going to go, he's lying. And my response would be, why do you think that you're so important that I have to lie to you? I don't need to lie. My life's already, been attacked. So I've got no reason to lie. And secondly, to people who are out there who have beliefs that are somewhat, moderate, you guys better start standing up, because this is going to happen more frequently. And today it's me, because I used to be a Proud Boy and committed no crimes. What happens if you get on there and say something racy like there's only two genders, and now you're speaking hate speech and you get fired? So if conservatives and people who realize that this is wrong don't start speaking up and standing up and making their voices heard, this will happen again. And so that's going to be my fight, is to make sure that these groups get together and say, no, this is not right, because it's not. I've done nothing wrong.
All right, Officer Rick Fitzgerald, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.